life on this very planet, you have a beginning and you have an ending. As each cycle occurs, the souls living are forced to make a decision. They must choose to live life following either the stoic path of devoutness and worship that many believe eventually leads to an afterlife of eternal bliss, or they may choose to live life following the opulent path of hedonism and non-belief, which many believe leads only to eternal damnation. In this day and age, the time of choice is strongly upon us. A lotus of the night, a simple dark lotus, has emerged from sacred soil. From this unfolds a single truth. Those who believe in the gospel of the Dark Carnival recognize this as our last warning. The very next message brought before us will be the almighty Six Jokers card. For now, let us relish within the Lotus.
This is the Lord of the gods. This is the Lord of the universe. This is the He whom the winds fear. This is He right here, right here, having the voice to His commandments. The Lord of all things, King, ruler and helper. Hear me now. Make our spirits subject unto me.
Venomous snakes, magically charmed, all will disappear with the wave of a wand. Pharaohs eternally rest in their tomb. Hexes unleash, allow doom to consume. Nomads wander, where do they go? Scholars go insane at their minds are juggalos. Sand grains burn when the sun beats down. Skin rots more as the earth spins around.
I got visions of flashbacks of me on horseback, dressed in black, a severed head on my lap. Lips and assholes hanging from my earlobes. A sack filled up with sliced out pussy holes. We roll, dark low, black priest in control. Powerful forces coursing through my black soul. The blood and screams of hieroglyphic dreams. The tragedy I bring will set you free.
Yad, head, yad, mesh. In the wilderness of Kadesh. Bad lamp,
Jumping urges.
apocalypse of the seven churches. Yad, head, yad, mesh. In the wilderness of Kadesh. Bad lamp,
Jumping urges.
One last thing. I am going to ensure that the righteous do not become held in a higher state of social comfort than everyone else. For during the 7 years while those who have been condemned to purgatory for that time, their screams of torment and suffering shall be heard by the hosts of heaven, so that they shall not forget that those who suffer in that place are those that they failed to protect. A gesture towards a balanced equilibrium between good and evil, so that there is no room for retribution, unfair judgment, or favoritism of any sorts from those who fell short of achieving anything that the Lord's will had guided them towards. Hopefully this will prevent the holy hosts from ignoring their duties and responsibilities and watching over creation, as had happened here that caused a third of the heavens to fall from the skies. I heard an angel remark that not even in the first war in heaven had so many angels fell. A truly regrettable time for all. What was more tragic was after their fall, they did not reach for redemption or seek the path to forgiveness. They instead sought to finger the blame on everyone else but them, refusing to admit to any error and insisting on it being some scheme I designed or some dark allies that secretly supported me. Sure, there may have been dark forces at play, but not in this issue recently. The issue of their fall was because of pride and shame, and any angel who has iniquity within their heart cannot remain in heaven. They must be cast out as the unclean thing that they are, not into the eternal torment of hell. That is a whole different section of the infernal furlong. Call it the maximum security section that is best known as Tartarus. The first section of Tartarus is the void of oblivion, the second death, the absol limbo. Much like those who commit suicide, these individuals were so dangerous to those around them that when they died they fell into the dreamless sleep until a solution can be found to their problem. The next section is the phantom exodus. These people were so evil and destructive that they have been changed into inanimate objects such as furniture parts, decoration pieces, and other knickknacks, unable to speak or act or interact in any way, but they can still watch and be aware of what goes on around them, just unable to react. Then there is the sea of iniquity. Those who had fallen into adapting sinful and destructive habits and have become too arrogant to listen to any other way than theirs and committed heinous evils while alive without any remorse or desire to ask for forgiveness. Unfortunately, existence is a large place. Many already have come and gone, many more still to come. In fact, there are so many that it was described as being like an ocean of damned souls all heading towards the shores of Sheol. Here the rocks are sharp and jagged, and it leads into the desert of the eternal wasteland. Infinite sand dunes, no water, scorching heat, and total solitude from everyone else. Those sent here do not interact with anyone else, for they have no eyes in their sockets, and their mouths are sewn shut so they cannot speak their lies. No arms, and their sins are etched into their foreheads so that anyone who may be passing through that sees them will not need to ask why they are there. Then, in the center of this wasteland will be the lake of fire. Along the bottom of this lake will be a plentiful number of what seem like terracotta statues, and bound to each one will be one of the damned who shall remain bound within the statue and submerged beneath a lake of molten magma to breath enduring. Their time there. Next is the dreaded seventh circle of hell reserved for the Antichrist and his associates who rose to make war against heaven in the final conflict, and who drove the world into suffering and away from God. For them it is reserved, since of hell when it was first made these stone thrones, that they shall be set upon and live in stone for their entire time in hell. From here they shall boil alive over the lake of fire for all eternity if that is what it takes. Everyone within the damned pits will be able to see them, but never reach them, all of them knowing that it was those they see sitting upon those thrones that led most of them to be there in the first place. Everyone shall look upon them with seething hatred, for they suffer because of their schemes and benefit. Those are the 7 dominions of the infernal realm of suffering in what lay beyond the shores of Sheol. There are a few others, the place where rapists and deviant wicked people who let themselves be molded into tools of desolation and brought suffering to people's lives. Those people live out a never-ending nightmare, going from one scenario, suffering and then dying, only to suddenly be in a whole different scenario in the blink of an eye. As they die in one, they awaken to another, and knowing fully why they are there and what sins caused them to be where they are experiencing what they are. Then there are the judges who sentenced people to fates that wasted their lives and opportunities to find ways to change themselves, and simply shoveled their society's problems under the rug, which was a major part of what demanded the design of hell. In the first place, God knew that a place was needed to reach those he called the flock who strayed from the path, those who became too arrogant to see the error in their ways and change. Those who must experience the terror they cause to others before realizing they need to find a way or making an attempt to change. And notice, the deeper we go, the more tragic of those damned lay beyond, but their stories are so profound, and were individuals who would start up a large reaction of despair and grief if it was known who dwells within the deepest parts of purgatory. Because they were great and holy, virtuous people who befell tragic events and made the wrong choices that led to many, many things other than just suffering of the innocent. All must stand accountable for their actions if they refuse to do so themselves for whatever reason. There is no justification for suffering. There is no explanation that can make the suffering of someone as a result of their action justifiable or deemed necessary. That is not divine logic or enlightenment, but just common sense. So you can only imagine who may lay beyond. Purgatory, hell, furlong is not eternal, but it can be if you're arrogant enough. I've heard of some entering and learning what they needed to and accepting their mistakes and rising back out in a matter of days. Some have been there for tens of thousands of years. Some come and go. That is the extent of your tour. Thank you for your damned deposit. You may go now, and he shall be staying. Because even through a video, a game chess board, a book, or dressed as a traveling knick-knack salesman, hell will sometimes come to find you instead of waiting. Right there, boy. Who's a good son of Sam? Yes, now be good, or I'll feed you to Cherbers. Damn dog, always trying to hump when it's not appropriate. Here, puppy, go fetch your... Now you all have seen the evidence to my ability to cast magic without speaking or moving, and you've heard me mention magic being capable of creating entire alternate universes and traverse time. This is one of the reasons why, so that I can design the realm of hell for the Almighty, which is finished. And send into the hands of his waiting angels to carry to him. Next on my list of to-dos, hey, I got a joke for ya. What do you call a hooker in rehab? A scratch and skank sticker. Okay, I got another one. An astrophysicist, an artificial intelligence computer, and God are sitting at a bar trying to think of a good excuse to begin drinking when a hooker walks in the door and walks towards them. The physicist starts trying to scrawl his number onto a napkin. The artificial intelligence computer prints out a Google Map location to the nearest sex workers anonymous group meeting. God grabs the beer bottle off the bar, slings the hooker over his shoulder, and looks at them as he says, "What, haven't you all read the Bible? I'm turning water to wine, and don't even have me start on about the Immaculate Conception." Then walks out the door. Hey kid, if you've got a Zagnut bar, I'll share a story with you. If not, then forget about it. I'm just busting your chops. So do you really want the answer to this question? 'Cause I'm a friggin' talking cockroach. I've been around longer than George Burns. Yes, it's closer to 240 to 310 million years, but that's debatable. What it is has to do with a supernova that occurred along the edge of the galactic arm we are passing by right now. 310 million years ago, there is a legend, believe it or not, called the Day of the Second Sun. For a short time, about 6 months or so, there was a second sun that appeared in the daytime sky. It exchanged places, and for a while there was a sun on both sides, turning night into day. Then the oceans dried up, volcanoes around the world began erupting, the heat wave cooked everything on the surface, and what creatures survived had to go subterranean to escape the scorching daylight. Then there was a massive tectonic destabilization as the empty magma chambers collapsed in the oceans that disappeared had gone down deep into the firmament layer. The pressure of the collapsing magma chambers pushed the ocean water back to the surface rapidly, leading to columns of water spouting to 100 feet into the air to begin spewing all over the world. This led to the stampede of the end of the Mesozoic era as a 450 feet wave of water approached from both the east and the west, converging along the upper central United States that became known as Dinosaur Alley. This is where millions of dinosaur bodies had washed up and fossilized after the tidal surge was over. That last stage will be coming next. Already the ocean water and lakes are rapidly drying up. Then the magma eruptions will occur almost simultaneously around the world. Then the waters will rush back, and we have a dual-sided tsunami almost 500 feet tall to overcome. Then the ash and sulfuric debris will cover the earth with a thick cloud of red-hued darkness. For 1,000 years, almost the surface air will be toxic. Then after about 1,000 years, the air will clear, packing all the debris into layers of new Arctic ice sheets that will almost completely cover the surface. The shifting weight will set the poles back into place, where Antarctica and Alaska will be the new equatorial paradise during this, minus the poisonous air. Then everything there will freeze back over as the poles reset themselves, and everything in the ice that thaws and doesn't decay will end up in our South Pole, against as all debris slowly floats towards, and then a new age on Earth will begin. For another 250 million years or so, until the next event.
Hurragoon, feed the rats. Hurragoon, skin the cats. Heckle, heckle, Lucifer. Heckle, heckle, crucifer. Meditate, body weight, humiliate. Castrate, contemplate. Hate, decapitate. Segregate, poison, venom, vixen, pleasure, vortex, vomit, vulture, treasures, hexafire, hexapain, hexalosses, hell will gain, blood of children, blood of pig, dig, Solomon, dig, dig your grave, be my slave, lot of wicked spirits rage.
Black is magic, leave my soul. Black is magic, let me be.
Keep your black tongue off of me.
Black is magic, drop your chain.
May you never speak my name. what's tragic? Got throws it, nobody wanna catch
I go east, you go west, and the moon follows both of us.
Magic,
Pyramids, circle crops, 100-ton Stonehenge blocks.
it's magic.
Volcanic lava,